Alright, so we just finished the stream. We were doing viewer pools, first impressions, whatnot, and I want to talk a little bit about, as usual, the day one impressions on Milk, the new character, and how she's looking really good. I even forgot to level up her bond, which we will do. And I forgot this, and she's doing more damage than Red Hood already. She's doing more damage than Red Hood with less investment, less element. No, she has more elemental damage, I believe. We will check the lines in a second. But she's doing more damage than my Red Hood with less gear, less everything, right? Even skills at 777 haven't fully leveled her up. But this is gonna be a 10-10-10 character, sadly, because how much increase she gets on her percentages. But before we go into that, as usual, hello gamers, welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling guy. Today's topic, Milk, Blooming Bunny, whatever the fuck she's called, I don't know. She looks fantastic, one of my favorite looking characters in a while. I love Milk, but when Milk got her treasure, I hated her. I actually made a tier for her at the bottom. It was how tilted I was. But this is a good redemption where we get good fan service, we're getting a nice looking girl, and we're getting really good damage. In fact, she's doing better damage than, for example, Red Hood. So we know for a fact she will be most likely an alternative at the T1. The lowest I could see her is a T2, but with how good she is doing in terms of damage, it's going to be most likely a T1. A few big problems with her, which I haven't tested. I'm just talking here until I test tomorrow on a first impression video, right? Which is on neutral content. I don't know how she's gonna behave, but she has a lot of attack already, right? So she should be good even on neutral. I'll test that tomorrow. For now, I've just been testing on Iron Week. And that she is a needy girl, not only on investment and how much you need to throw at her, but also on the all lines, because even if you're only fishing for elemental, charge speed and charge damage, you can ignore attack. It's still expensive to reroll for, right? But her skills is like one of the worst parts in my opinion. We're talking about the character that level 4 to level 10, the difference on the skills. I hope you guys can read this a little bit. But level 4 to level 10 is a huge difference in terms of how much she's getting, right? As you can see, for example, on her Pierce buff at level 4, it's 47, but it's a 64% at level 10. Her Pierce buff here is an 85, but it goes to all the way to 120 almost. And her damage numbers, it's the biggest thing I will say, goes from 160 to 220. Like, you wanna be getting her skills leveled up. The skill, I'm not sure if you need to level up, is a skill 1. A skill 1, you might be able to get away with level 4 or level 7. Because you only do this when you are like holding the skill for more than 0.5 seconds, right? If you are putting her on a team with fast rotations, you might get away with not using this as much. Since every time you are going, bursting with her, you are being immune to this. But still, I believe it's gonna be like a 7-10-10 at least, if not 10-10-10, I'm gonna be honest, okay? That said, let's talk a little bit about damage numbers, what we've been doing so far, a little bit on investment and what we got, and then my final thoughts on if I would pull right now or not. So, first of all, gear, we got kind of unlucky because again, you don't care about attack, you care only about elemental. I got max ammo, attack, charge speed, we got elemental, attack, critical rate, we got an elemental here, charge speed, critical rate, this piece is really good, and then we got attack elemental. So I was fishing for elemental, got some attack as well, and I kept it because why not? But you only care about the elemental, charge speed, charge damage, and then crit rate, crit damage. You can completely ignore attack because again, she gets so much for her from her own buffs that you don't need this. I'm getting 100% attack buff, and every time she's bursting, instead of 100, she's getting 190% attack buff. So it's like, yes, you can get more attack. The amount of rocks you might need to use versus how diluted actually it's gonna be, because it's gonna be like 130% attack, is not that great, right? So elemental is the focus. That's it about the gear. Skills, like I was saying earlier, this looks like it's gonna be a 10-10-10. I don't see a situation where you're not really leveling everything up. The skill 1 is the only one that I could say, yeah, okay, if you have fast rotations. But even if you have fast rotations, you are still getting the embarrassment while the other B3 is bursting, because you are not getting anything else, right? So at least 10-15 seconds from one time to her second rotation, she still gets this 100% uptime. So 7-10 on all the skills most likely. When it comes to her cube, I don't see a reason to use Bastion. I think Resilience is gonna be better on any situation. Maybe the charge speed cube I could see as well, but again, I think Resilience is the play to go. One thing about her is that you have to manual her, and this is annoying for most people. I was trying to leave her on full auto, only apply skill 1, that works. she does decent-ish damage. So that's like one option. You just leave her on basically semi-auto. Semi-auto, right? Let's put Milk here. I had to restart because I have a skill issue and I forgot to apply the buff. So if you want to leave her on auto, you only need to, at the beginning of the battle, hold for 0.5 seconds the full charge. As you can see, you get like a heart animation, right? The heart animation is different than this punch coming from the sky. And then you will only have to manual her again after full burst and you want a full charge again for 0.5 seconds. Right there, you see the hearts on the sky. So that's like the auto version, but you're losing a lot of damage if you do that. If you want to actually get more damage, and we'll share the difference in numbers, you have to manual her. This is by Lenny, by the way. If you guys are on the global server, you probably have seen him on the solo rates and on the co-op rankings all the time. He told me he's basically spamming shots until he has to either reapply skill 1 or until her magazine is empty. So every time she has to reload, he will actually full charge one shot and then spam shots. And it's actually a big increase on damage. So normal full auto, like I was saying earlier, she's doing 1.2 bill versus 1.7 on Red Hood. This is on Ultra. Fully invested Rappi, properly invested Red Hood as well. Red Hood is doing 1.6. Now Ultra is a boss that is designed for Red Hood, okay? She's the best character here for a reason. As you can see, my Red Hood, 48% elemental, 18% attack, not that amazing, but she's still destroying Ultra just because the parts and how fast they respawn and how her pierce work because it will destroy everything. My Milk got 72% elemental, 30% attack. Pretty good, right? Now when we switched to like a normal Union Rage basic beach test and I was doing actually spamming shots until I have to reapply skill 1 or until she's reloading, she was doing 2.7 billion versus 5.4 on my Rappi, and then my Red Hood was doing 2.3, so she's already doing more damage than my Red Hood here. Not only that, but this is a level 850 almost account by Lenny, once again, thank you Lenny, and he was doing a core 7 Red Hood, 11 billion Madeline Red Hood, versus a base copy Milk doing 10 billion damage, just 1 billion less, again, a core 7 Red Hood versus a base Milk. So we know already she's gonna be doing more damage than Red Hood unless it's a boss that is designed for Red Hood just like Ultra. So her damage is really good, right? And then earlier I was showing my Ultra, not spamming shots, so 1.2, and I gained 200 mil damage on Ultra. If you are better at manualing snipers, your results will be better. I suck at manualing snipers. So with that damage, we can already see she's gonna be a fantastic character. It's a matter of testing on different bosses, different situations, seeing how much we actually need to invest into her because it feels like she's gonna be a really expensive girl. But Iron is finally getting a really powerful character because, first of all, Tetra Tower was kinda fucked up, right? We didn't have a proper DPS for Tetra Tower in a while. So this is the first one we get at least this year that is like decent. And then not only for Tetra Towers, but for raids, clearly she's gonna be fantastic. I will be comparing her later and tomorrow to the Stellar Blade girls, to Laplace on Ultra as well, and other girls not only on neutral but on elemental advantage to see how she's performing. But so far I will say getting a copy is worth of both Milk and Aid. It feels like both of them will be a T1, but again I want to keep testing and see how she's doing. All that yapping aside though, enough talking, okay, enough ranting. It's time for me to go take out my dog because it is almost midnight and I have not taken her out for a walk because we're testing on stream. So, as usual, we are live every single day on stream. Beautiful bosses, links in the description down below. Good luck with your pool, dear rates. I'll see you on the next one.